I wanted to do a video just to kind of showcase the units that I think are the most cost-effective units in the game. So I'm going to start with Blufor, and basically the way I did this is I went coalition by coalition. So let's go ahead and start with the US, and the US is essentially considered a coalition in balancing terms. Alright. So I'll just kind of go through each tab in each deck and explain quickly. I'll try to be as quick as possible why I think certain units are more cost effective. Okay, first unit, the Command M1 Abrams. And this unit is cost effective because you get 3 top armor on a command unit. It actually has the ability to fight its way out of certain situations. It's relatively fast, and it's relatively cheap for what it brings to the table. The CH-53. Okay, when it comes to buying your supply units or your supply vehicles, the more expensive they are, generally the better they are from a cost efficiency standpoint. You get 3,700 total supply with each CH-53. You get 3 of them, so that's 11,100 total supply on a card. Now if you compare that to a Super Chinook, where you get 2,500 per chopper, 4 choppers, that's 10,000 total supply. So you're getting 1,100 more supply out of choosing this over this. Yes, it's slightly more exposed. It's a bigger loss if you lose it, but just be careful with your supply vehicles, and it shouldn't really be a huge issue. It's better to go for more total supply per card, in my opinion. Next choice, the Hemet. Same exact discussion. You've got 15 trucks with 500 supply versus 6 trucks with 2,400 supply. Well, this is considerably more supply than this is, and also Hemets are way faster. 100 off-road speed versus 50 off-road speed. They also have more health, I believe. Yeah, 10 strength versus 5 strength, and they also have armor everywhere except for the top. Not that big a deal, but it's something anyway. Alright, infantry. Okay, US infantry, cost efficiency. Not a lot to really show here. This one's a little... I have kind of a category, I'm going to call it honorable mention. Some things are just straight up cost efficient. Some things just deserve a little bit of a mention as a possibility. Well, light rifleman, the base light rifleman, not the light rifleman 90, their machine gun is actually pretty decent for line infantry, and coming in a Black Hawk, which is a pretty decent transport chopper. Its machine gun can tear things to shreds. 2758 fire rate from twin miniguns, 20% accuracy, good range, good speed, medium size, so it's a little smaller than the big ones, and 6 strength. Makes the Black Hawk a pretty efficient troop carrier that actually has some ability after you drop your troops off to be useful. And light rifleman, the M240, gives you 50% accuracy, 340 fire rate with 55 suppression. It's a pretty good machine gun. So that's an interesting unit. Alright. Support tab. Base M109s. The base M109, the 50-point version, it costs you 49 supply per shell that you shoot. If you go up to the M109A2, it costs you 70 per shell in supply for every shot. So this is actually the only 155mm howitzer with 7 HE damage in the game that gives you that cost efficiency in resupply. And it's also only 50 points, so you can bring them out relatively inexpensively in big numbers. It's not sniper artillery. You don't use M109s to snipe units. You use it to suppress large areas. So keep that in mind. It's a totally different mindset when using this type of artillery. So you can put a big uncorrected circle on a city and suppress everything that's in there, or a forest, or some area that you're planning on assaulting. That's how you use M109s. You don't really use them to snipe specific vehicles that you catch sitting out somewhere. 30-second aim time definitely, prohibits that type of usage, but it's very cost efficient for suppressing a large area. Next unit we'll mention is the M1097 Avenger, which comes with 8 C Stingers, 70% accuracy. Stabilized accuracy is exactly the same as its stationary accuracy, which means these guys can fly down the road at 150 move speed and pop their stingers off at anything accurately, which makes this as an extremely good vehicle to lead a fast assault early in the game. Its off-road speed is also nice, so it can provide some ability later in the game from that aspect, but it's extremely good early game unit for your AA purposes, and there's really no need to go up to hardened when it's already 70% accuracy, so you can get a lot of availability efficiency out of a card as well. The M48A3 Chaparral. In AOB, these things had 4 missiles on them. In Red Dragon, they have 12, which is just an insane amount of ammo that is available on this unit. 50% accuracy, it's not the greatest, but it's not bad. Its helicopter range is absolutely insane. It's decent against airplanes. It has good HE. Really, there's nothing not to like. The Chaparral is probably the single best AA system in the game, all things considered. Alright, moving on to tanks. The M1IP Abrams is probably the most cost-efficient tank in the game. For 75 points to get 17 frontal armor is pretty insane. You get 2 machine guns. Really helps sometimes when you're in the forest in suppressing infantry while you're killing it. M60 A2E2 Starship. It has a 4 HE main cannon. I would probably argue it should be 5, but anyway, it's 4. It's really good at hitting infantry and killing them. You're not really using this main cannon to kill vehicles. It can 11 AP. It's heat, so that means you don't get the bonus when it's closer in range. It has some decent ATGMs, not great, and an autocannon, and 10 frontal armor for 40 points, which makes this thing pretty amazing in the forest. It's great at moving through a forest and taking down infantry, especially when supported by other infantry and tanks and other vehicles. The M8 AGS. I probably should use this thing a lot more than I do, but its firepower is, on paper, is just absolutely outstanding. Full range, 13 fire rate, 17 AP, 3 HE, so if it's firing at infantry in the open, it's going to decimate them. 30 rounds of ammo, that's not bad. A little bit of armor. Fast, medium optics, small size, so it's harder to hit. There's really nothing not to like. It's definitely your textbook glass cannon right there. But for 50 points, it's pretty amazing. I really haven't mentioned it, but hadn't planned on mentioning it, but the HC Abrams is pretty outstanding too for the price. Amazing firepower with good frontal protection. It's pretty good, like just slightly below super heavy tier tank. Really is super heavy, but it's one of my favorite tanks in the game. Alright, Recon, the AH-1J Cobra. Insane amount of rockets. You're getting 52 rockets on this bad boy with good optics, so you can detect quite a bit and a lot of frag rounds. So it's great for dealing with infantry and light vehicles early game. And if you have an infiltration in your back lines, it's great for dealing with that, for scouting out infantry in the forests and dealing with them all by itself. It's really good at that. The M151A2 FAV, 45 points for exceptional optics. You know, it's pretty nice. All right, vehicles, combat. Okay, that's pretty much an insane amount of firepower right there on that cannon. Now that it's definitely the most powerful autocannon in the game, all things considered. A little bit of armor, 30 points, you know, not bad. Can add some punch, and it's really versatile, can deal with a lot of situations. The M728 CEV, once again another unit that I don't use as much as I should. It's really amazing at dealing with infantry, especially in cities or in forests. When you have a good idea where they're at, you can outrange most things, and 8 HE damage. Okay, well basically it can one-shot an infantry squad pretty much, you know. 13 frontal, it's good. So yeah, a unit I probably should use more that I don't. I'll throw in a couple honorable mentions on this tab, even though I hadn't really planned on them. The V150 90mm can really add some punch to certain decks when you have a need to have some KE power on them at a fast road speed. So just one to consider. Alright, helicopters. This one's kind of honorable mention. Sea Cobra, 8 tow missiles early game can be pretty handy against dealing with some early game situations. 38 nice rockets, Vulcan, all for 70 points. It's a pretty good deal. Small size, hard to hit. AH-1S Cobra. It's basically just like me describing the AH-1J Recon Cobra, except this one's over on the vehicle tab. Has the same firepower that a Blackhawk has as far as that goes, and 52 rockets at your disposal for 45 points. So it can do a whole lot of work early game. Heavy Hog, same kind of description basically. The H1S Cobra has better rockets overall and some more of them, while the Heavy Hog has a decent amount of rockets, but it also has the frag grenade rounds, so it's a little bit cheaper. Both of them can really decimate early game. Can be useful in later game situations as well too. The Apache, you know, a big problem that was part of AOB was when these had fire and forget Hellfires, you'd get a lot of waste with them. Well, in this game, since it might be nice if they were fire and forget, but it makes this one kind of cost efficient that they're not fire and forget, because you're getting 8 really amazing Hellfire missiles, and you're only going to fire one at a target at a time. So you can possibly take out a whole lot of really strong units with this vehicle. Amazing autocannon, a lot of good rockets on it as well. Has some armor, decent strength, decent optics, so pretty cost-effective attack helicopter right there. Alright, air tab, F-16C Block 52, probably the most cost-effective air superiority fighter in the game. You're getting exceptional air detection, decent ECM, not the top rate. You're getting 4 AMRAAMs and 2 really good sidewinders, and by far the best cannon in the game for anti-airplane. All for 160 points, you can get 2 trained, so it's very efficient. You know, 1 activation slot, you're covering all your air superiority needs, like basically with something that can go toe to toe with anything in the game, pretty much. Alright, so those are my super cost-effective units for the US deck right there. Alright, moving on. Let's go to... let's do Commonwealth. Alright, Commonwealth. HQ section of infantry and a Lynx AH-7. Well, the reason this one's cost effective is along with your HQ section, you're getting a great little rocket chopper that can really lend a lot of help to you early game with 38 SNEB rockets, which are extremely effective rockets to have at your disposal. At 30% accuracy can make quite a bit of difference. Command Chieftain, once again, 3 top armor, 160 points. You know, good command vehicle. And then your HLVW, it's not quite as good as a Hemet, but it's not bad. 30 points. It's your second level supply vehicle available to you in the game on the Blufor side. Alright, infantry, we got quite a few to point out here. Commandos, the Bren is not amazing, but it's really good machine gun. The 70% accuracy is nice, and you're getting a nice cheap deployable vehicle here that can be useful in numbers in the forest to deal with infantry. Diggers, 10-point diggers, same situation. You know, for 15 points, you're getting a lot of value out of this card. Alright, Gurkhas. Oops, wrong Gurkhas here. This should be Gurkhas 90. Alright, Gurkhas 90 in a Saxon. That's a lot of bang for your buck on one card. The great thing about Gurkhas is you get 12 rockets on one card, one group of infantry. So you're basically never going to run out of rockets pretty much on these guys. 50-man squad. They move at the top ground speed. They have a SMG, which means if they get in close quarters, they actually just decimate other infantry. And if they get just up close, they do really well as well. Mini-Me, it's not the top of the line machine gun, but it's good. It's probably versatility wise, it's one of the best. Alright, Pioneers. Well, just any type of flamethrower infantry can be really effective in the forest in this game or in cities. More in the forest, in my opinion. And then the TH-495, as far as vehicles go, it's one of the very best infantry fighting vehicles, especially for the cost. At 20, it's relatively cheap. It's got a really good auto cannon, and it's got 2 armor all the way around. Medium optics, so that's a good card to take right there. Fusiliers, Warrior 90, done some testing since I did these decks. People can argue with me in the comments on this if you want to. I really don't like warriors. They do give you a lot of armor though, but the cannon, on paper it looks horrible, and it turns out like using it in the field, it's really, comparing it to like a Martyr 1A2s or some of the higher fire rate autocannons, they do a lot better. They're a lot more effective. So warriors aren't horrible, but there's better things out there. But for what you're getting on this card, it's not bad. 10-point Fusiliers are pretty nice. You're getting a nice machine gun. If you go up to the Fusiliers 90, you're getting a the machine gun. I don't know, you can make arguments either way on the machine gun, but obviously the Law 80 rockets are way better than base Law rockets. But I can see a argument for taking base Fusiliers just for cost efficiency. Anyway, this is more of an honorable mention suggestion here. I would say the main ones here to look at that are really good are Gurkhas 90 and Pioneers and the TH495. Alright, moving on. Sport tab. Wolverines. Very cost effective, 35 points. You have 3 ready to shoot. Not the best range. The easiest unit in the game to compare this to is the Scandinavian RBS 90 vehicles. They're a little bit better, but these are almost as good. Very good fast AA, and this was something that the Commonwealth deck desperately needed when we got these in the game, and it's really added a lot to Commonwealth. Very good card. Challenger Marksman. This is one of the only units in the game that can actually take a seed shot and possibly survive. So I'm giving it a nod on that basis, and it's quite devastating if it ever gets to fire at something. So good card in my opinion, and cost effective. Once again, the 50-point M109, same discussion as what we had on the US deck about the 50-point M109s. Stormer HVM. This is an amazing vehicle for the money. You're getting good helicopter range. You know, they're okay against airplanes, especially if you can get some numbers going. They're not amazing, but they're not seatable. And you get 16 rounds on a vehicle, so resupply is not a big deal. So, and they're also able to shoot at ground units. Most of the time you don't want to shoot at ground units with them, but it can be effective for that purpose if you need it to do that. But overall, it's a great AA piece for the money. FV432 81mm mortars. The great thing about these guys is you're getting 200 rounds on a vehicle, and if you compare that around to say the M125, look at that, you're getting 140 rounds on this guy when you're getting 200 on this, so it's very efficient from a supply perspective. So it's a good mortar for the money. Moving on, tanks. AS1, 35 points. If you want something to deploy in numbers and, you know, control a forest, these guys are really good for the money. 35 points. And you're getting the MG3, which can actually make quite a bit of difference compared to all the other machine guns on tanks. When you actually have an MG3, you know, I'll just pin and compare here. 30% accuracy versus 20% accuracy. I think the fire rate might be a little misleading. I'd have to test it a little bit, but they made some changes recently, so I might need to go test a little bit more. But from my experience, MG3s on vehicles just make tremendous amounts of difference in their effectiveness, being like one of the only vehicle-based machine guns that actually can get something done for you. So for 35 points, the fact that this has an MG3, it has the full 8 armor of a Leopard in that price range, medium optics, good autonomy, you know, the full 10 fire rate. It's a good value for the money. Okay, 50-point Leopard AS1 Plus. Now you're getting a lot of firepower for the money. Full range, 16 AP. It's kind of a glass cannon, you know. Once again, if you compare it to the AGS gun system in the US, you're getting a little armor on this one. In exchange, you're losing a little fire rate. I'd much rather have one of these than an AGS personally. I think this is one of the best early game tanks in the game. It can get a lot done for you early game. Leopard C2 Mexus. For 75 points, you're getting 14 frontal armor. That's a big step up in the armor department. And all the other good stuff that we just discussed on the Leopard AS1 Plus, and a little bit more AP. So really good tank for the money there as well. Alright, Recon. The Gazelle AH1. 65 points for exceptional recon chopper. Very good value. Extremely good value. ILTAS Scout, 45 point exceptional recon. Another one a lot of people might not have considered before is the 30 point Spartan. For 30 points, you're getting 2 frontal, good off-road speed. Tracked vehicle means it moves faster through the forests with very good optics. So this is actually a pretty cost-effective little recon vehicle as well, if you're looking for something to kind of keep up with a more mobile push of some type. This is a very effective. I mean, most vehicles you look at in this kind of range of this type are going to be good optics and not very good optics, and there's a big difference between very good and good optics. I'll give the Coyote honorable mention here. I should have had it in here anyway, but as far as autocannon recon vehicles, this is the king of the road right here, because you're getting very good optics when a lot of the other autocannon recon vehicles, wheeled versions, only have good optics, like the LAV or the Soviet one, the one that's a BTR-80A, BRDM-3, I believe is what it's called. This one's much better than any of those. With the medium stealth and good range on this autocannon, you're able to fire and remain hidden in a lot of situations. Very good vehicle. Alright, vehicles. Centurion AVR-E. Basically the same thing as the American, I forget the number of the one on the American, but it's the 2458 HE ground weapon. Once again, great at killing infantry and keeping you back out of danger. Helicopters. The CH-135 gunship, not bad for 30 points. You're getting a decent amount of rockets, good accurate rockets. They're more accurate than like Hydras and other rockets, and you're getting 28 of them, so not bad for 30 points. 75 point Lynx AH-7 TOW2. with 320 speed and 8 toe-twos, this is a really good little sniper chopper for sniping tanks and stuff. Really good. I'm going to give the Lynx AH1 toe an honorable mention here for 45 points. To get 8 toes is pretty nice. If you can find a place for this to fit in a deck, I think you can definitely make it work, and it can be cost efficient in a lot of games. Alright, Air, the AHK Kahu, 125 points for 2 extremely accurate high AP Fire and Forget Mavericks for 125 points, 30% ECM. This is a very cost effective way to take a tank out of the game, almost guaranteed every time. This guy, I've done some testing since I made this deck. It's kind of interesting, 60 points for a cluster bomber. With the recent buff that clusters have got to 6 AP, they are quite effective now. If you haven't used clusters in a while, I'd recommend you give it a try. They can be devastating. So 60 points for one is kind of interesting. But in practice, after I did some testing, these aren't really that great, so I'm going to take it out. Maybe you can make it work in numbers. This one was actually a little disappointing as well. You would think with 8 AP on this one that it would be a really good cluster, but I found with only dropping 4, sometimes it has some issues with actually getting enough of the cluster bombs on target to be effective. So I would have to say the only cluster bomber that's super effective on Commonwealth deck is going to be the Canadian Hornet, and for cost effective standpoint, they're not super cost effective. I think the price on these should be lower, in my opinion, than it is, but it's another discussion. Alright, but I would say over the Tornado GR1, if I was to put a cluster bomber on this deck, it would most definitely be this one right here. Alright, moving on. And I think I did miss one unit on the US deck. Where is my US cost effective deck? Sorry guys. US cost efficient. Okay, these are the only ones I'm going to mention on naval. The Lafayette is definitely probably the only. You could make some arguments for some other NATO boats, but from cost efficiency, I'm going to say the Lafayette's really your only one to mention. 60% ECM makes it hard to hit with missiles, exceptional C optics, decent CIWS, and 8 good long range missiles with better cannons. It's a decent naval boat. The Tram is probably the best naval unit in the game. It shoots 4 anti-ship missiles from the furthest possible range. There's one plane, the Su-27, that shoots from a further range, but it only shoots 1 missile, so it almost always gets shot down unless you just use it in the perfect way. This shooting 4 of these, never do all 4 of them get shot down, so you're usually going to get a hit. It has decent accuracy, it has good AP power, and the fact that this moves a little slower, if I compare this one to the other one that is quite similar, the F111G, the fact that this one moves at 750 speed and the F111 moves at 1000 means that the Tram rarely ever gets shot at by the ships that it fires on, when the F111G almost always has a missile go off at it, and the Tram has a little bit higher ECM as well. So I think the Tram is probably the most effective naval unit in the game. Alright. Moving on. Let's do Eurocorps now. Alright, Eurocorps. French Command Infantry and the Panther, same argument as it was for the Lynx AH-7. Exact same rockets, exact same number, pretty much the same chopper. Leopard Command Tank, 3 top armor, 170. Of all the command tanks, this is the one that's has the best ability to fight back on the Blufor side. So, relatively efficient. And they have the 85-point supply choppers as well. And then, since I had them on the Commonwealth deck, I need to have them here. The Man-Caddy is your second most efficient supply vehicle. Infantry, Mistral. However you decide to bring them, Mistrals are the best Blufor anti-air man-pad in the game. The Japanese PSMs are probably your close second, but these are your best. And AMX 10P is for 15 points is a pretty good vehicle to bring them in. The autocannon on the AMX 10P is pretty good. Gets a lot done because of that 749 fire rate. Alright, well on F3, I put them in a Panther here, but there's a lot of cost-effective choices for them. 5-point transport, VAB if you need something fast. I might as well talk about it here. The VAB T2013 is the only wheeled autocannon available on Blufor. Decent autocannon. Unfortunately, it only has 1 armor all the way around, but it is your only option for a fast autocannon vehicle on Blufor. The reason that I have the Milan's F3s in here, it's really the only ATGM that NATO offers that's even worth taking from an infantry perspective because of the 50% accuracy and the good AP. You can make an argument for the GMAT as well. Balsamjäger in a Fuchs, great card here. If you can get these guys in close quarter with something with a IMG-3 and a submachine gun with 40% accuracy and 533 fire rate, they will shred anything out there. And for 25 points, that's a pretty good deal, right? And Fuchs is an excellent fast transport for 10 points. With the MG3, it's actually, slightly useful in a lot of situations. It's extremely fast with its 105 off-road speed. Amphibious, not a lot. It's kind of like the poster boy best 10-point transport on the NATO deck. So you're getting a lot out of this card right here. Base Panzergrenadier and the M113A. For 25 points, that's a whole lot of infantry fighting power on one card right there. 5-point transport with an MG3, so you can add numbers of them together and like push in a forest or something, and they'll actually get a little work done, or use them as fire support. In certain situations can be useful. Panzergrenadier have an IMG-3, so they're good in city fighting and decent rocket. Panzergrenadier 90 in the Martyr 2. From infantry perspective, there's probably more destructive firepower available on this card than any other card you could take on the Blufor deck. You're getting probably the best rocket in the, well, you can make arguments for different ones, but it's a really good anti-tank rocket. IMG-3 for 25 points, and then the Martyr 2, I'm sure you guys know how effective these guys are. 6 AP, 1925 range, 204 fire rate, and 10 frontal armor on a 30 point infantry fighting vehicle. So obviously, really good. So that's obviously a very cost-effective card for you right there. Any of the Panzer Grenadier choices and any of the Martyrs is really cost-effective, period. So take your pick. You know, in a Martyr 1 for 15 points, man, that's a heck of a vehicle right there for 15 points. And you can have any Panzer Grenadier like you want to take there. So Sport tab, AMX 13 Will Nor, 35 points. Not very good at hitting anything, but they make a good shield for your Rolands if you need to throw something out there to take seed shots for your Rolands. You're better off learning how to micro your AA a little better, but if you need to put a shield out there, that's a good way to do it. 35 points, and you know, decent helicopter range. They can be effective in certain situations. So for 35 points, it's not bad. 50 point M109. Once again, same discussion as before. And I'm not necessarily making arguments that you should take all of these cards on these decks, like no matter what. I'm just pointing out things that are cost efficient on these decks. There might be better units to take, like, just give you an example of what I'm saying. The Crotal now, with the changes, since it's a guided missile, so it doesn't waste its shots as much, and it has higher accuracy. Man, this bad boy is really good unit right now. But am I going to talk about it from a cost efficiency standpoint? Probably not. But it's a really good card. So don't get me wrong when I'm pointing out things that are cost efficient. I'm not saying that's what you should take all the time. I'm just pointing that out, that they're cost efficient. Other things might be better to put in your deck. Cost efficiency is not the only thing involved in playing a good game of Wargame. Alright, VLRA Mistral. For 35 points, you're getting 8 Mistrals, 60% accuracy. Pretty damn good deal right there, I'd say. Tank tab. AMX 32, 70 points. AMX 40, 80 points. These are pretty cost effective for the amount of firepower and AP that you're able to put out for the money. Like if you compare this, we could compare it to the Nexus Leopard. You know, you're getting a lot more AP with this bad boy. Not quite as high a fire rate, but you're also getting an autocannon. Requires a lot of micro to use the autocannon, but it's there. Good optics, good speed. Not bad tanks for the money right there. Worth consideration. They're definitely glass cannons. The armor on them's horrible, but I'd say early game AMX 40 could be a really nice tank for you to use. The Kyler, 70 points. Great tank for 70 points. Great fully stabilized autocannon on it. Makes it useful in a lot of situations. And this one, since the autocannon's on its own separate turret, will fire at the same time as the gun without any micromanagement. It's a little lacking in armor and in AP, but it's still pretty good for 70 points. Now this bad boy right here is my absolute favorite tank in the game for pretty much all stages of the game from a cost efficiency standpoint. I would argue this one is even more cost efficient than an M11P in some ways. I think early game, if you bring one of these out and micro it well, you can get a whole lot done with it. So 135 points, you're getting super accurate IAP cannon, you're getting 19 frontal, an MG3, you're getting all this for 135, and you're getting decent availability for a higher end tank. Not great availability, but it's not bad. So I think these are super cost effective. Alright, pretty much across the board, the whole Leopard 2 line is really good though. So, I mean, even a Leopard 2 at 80 points is really nice. You're getting like a little bit more firepower than an M11P, but not as much armor. So it just depends on kind of your perspective on things. So I would say across the board, it's a nice tank line. Alright, I probably should give this bad boy an honorable mention right here. For 150 move speed, road speed, and 16 AP, 3 armor, man, the suckers can be pretty cool tank to use, and using it the right way. So yeah, I'll throw that bad boy in there. That thing can be quite cost efficient for what you can do with it. Alright, Recon. The French Bar in the TPC Zoot Fuchs. If you're using Recon infantry and you're using them from Recon, you should be using a 2-man unit for that purpose, because they're extremely hard to spot because of the exceptional stealth that they have. And they're all going to have the same very good optics, and that's really what you're concerned about, right? Also, French Spar with this sniper rifle right here can, and they're good with a gun as well. In a lot of situations, they'll just flat out kill, other infantry squads too, if push comes to shove. Obviously, you want to avoid that, but it can be useful in certain situations, especially like from a fire support. If they can get shots in on other infantry that's inside a city, they can be useful for that if that other infantry is fighting some of your infantry, for example. But if you're using Recon for Recon purposes, you should be using a 2-man squad because of exceptional stealth. And this one gives you that. It gives you a good transport that can be effective for other purposes. So I think that's a great value card right there. This guy right here is amazing value. You're getting a very good optics Recon vehicle, and you're getting fully stabilized Mistrals, 6 of them, along with a Recon vehicle. I can't even begin to explain to you the value that this vehicle provides to you at the start of the game. It's giving you a good AA piece along with your Recon element, all in one package at 150 move speed. Like, it's amazing value right there. Patu Tiger, amazing value right there when you're talking about an exceptional Recon helicopter with some Sneb rockets to throw in, with 4 Stingers to throw in, and 4 good anti-tank missiles, like all in one package. Yeah, 120 points is kind of expensive, but you're dealing with something that has good stealth, so it's like really hard to like spot in certain situations, and it can go hide, like if it gets in trouble. 8 strength can keep it alive, with 1 armor on the front and side. Good speed, definitely cost efficient. If you've looked at these and thought 120 was too steep for you, you need to rethink where you're coming from on that, because these bad boys are very, very cost efficient. Alright, vehicles. This one's kind of honorable mention. That's not a bad vehicle for infantry fire support. 3 HE, decent range with the MG3, 3 frontal armor, small size. It can be effective in a lot of situations for a fire support vehicle. Martyr VTSI, pretty much same kind of situation, except you're getting something with 15 AP that's a KE gun that has 3 HE and 4 frontal armor for 25 points. That's a pretty good deal for a nice fire support vehicle. Pretty nice. The Weasel Toe 2, most HGM vehicles are not very cost effective. This one's kind of like right on the margin where it could be if you use it in a really wise way, I would say. It's worth a consideration. You're getting 10 rounds. Not bad, you know. The 70% accuracy ATGM could be useful. You just got to make sure that you have a lot of armor up front screening for this thing. Alright, helicopters. Both of the Tigers. I should have the Celtic on here. I don't know why I don't. In my opinion, are pretty cost effective just because of the fact that that good stealth makes it pretty easy to keep them alive in a lot of situations when you would lose other helicopters. And they both have good effective payloads on them. So, yeah, they're both good vehicles. And I'd say they're more honorable mention. They're not full out cost efficient, but used in the right way, they could be. Celtic, the best range from anti-air choppers available, other than ones that have actual, you know, real anti-air missiles on them, not manpad versions. 60% accuracy, very good anti-air chopper. Alright, air tab. Jaguar A, 80 points, 2 available to you. Good, high AP, high accuracy, decent range seed missile. ECM's a little lacking. It's not bad though, but for 80 points, when you consider they're only 80 points, I think this is very cost efficient seed. Now that they made the change where it fires both of its seed missiles at once, this is quite useful from at screening your other planes, especially for 80 points. F4F KWS, 140 points, 3 AMRAMs, 4 decent sidewinders, 140 points, 40% DCM, exceptional air detection, 2 trained on 1 card. Pretty cost efficient air superiority fighter right there. Alright. Moving on. Scandinavia, cost efficiency. Alright, 130 points, 2 top armor. So this one's not a tank, but it's giving you 2 top armor for 130 points, which most vehicles, like command vehicles, like this one for instance, only give you 1 top armor. So the fact that it gives you 2 top armor, which is your main concern with the command vehicle, makes this one not bad. Command infantry and a Lynx. Lynx, because they have an MG3, can actually be useful sometimes after you drop infantry off. So this one's kind of an honorable mention nod, but on this deck it's definitely the best command chopper to take. Alright, cost efficient infantry. Storm Pine. Don't even get me into how to pronounce that. I got a lesson from Ollie on it, but I can't remember it right now. But these guys and the absolutely best infantry fighting vehicle available for the money in the game, pretty good deal in a card. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain why that's a really good infantry fighting vehicle. It's pretty obvious. It's good. Yeah. The new CV9030N is basically the same thing. You're trading a little bit of range to get 1 extra AP, which results in being the same thing, because once your 1925 range STRF 9040 comes down to 1750 range, well then guess how much AP it has now? 4. So it's basically the same thing. This one says it has a higher fire rate, so maybe it's a little better. Probably is. So yeah, there you go. But you can't get good flamethrower infantry. So basically the fact that you can get good flamethrower infantry and a good IFV makes this a really cost-efficient card that can deal with a lot of different situations. So I like that card. This one's kind of honorable mention. Some people can use these units well, some people can't. I haven't quite figured out how to do it very well, but I've seen people use them very effectively. The fire support units that use like a Gustav, they have a 350 minimum range before they can use HE on infantry, so it's tough to use them correctly. But for 15 points, you know, if you can figure out how to do it, more power to you. You're getting a 2 frontal, 2 side armor M11 13 M113 vehicle for 5 points. Not bad. Alright. Flossenjaeger 90, the Norway version. 12 Eric's rockets on a 15-man squad with the IMG-3. Pretty nice. I'd say I'm a fan. With a 3 armor all the way around, fast vehicle, not bad. You know, you can kind of make your call whether you think it's worth spending 5 extra points to go up to that version. You're losing your amphibious ability to gain 3 armor all the way around. Like, having the extra armor can make it like useful against, say, Spetsnaz in a forest. It means more guys might be alive if your vehicle gets blown up and the infantry survive. You know, it's kind of your call to make on whether you think it's worth it or not, but I think this is a very cost-effective card to get a 15-man squad with 12 good anti-tank rounds available to him with an IMG-3. Dragoneers and a decent M113. You know, once again, that's a pretty good 15-point card right there. I don't have any mention of it here, but the NM135 is a pretty damn good vehicle for the money. So, like these guys right here, this might be a cost-efficient card right here as well. I'd say you need to play with these guys a little bit, play with this vehicle, and understand its strengths and weaknesses, but if you understand how to use them and kite with them, it can be a really good vehicle. Alright, Sport Tab. We talked about this guy already. 2 RBS 90s loaded up and ready to go. 55% stabilized accuracy. 6 of them. 2800 helicopter range, 2240 airplane range, which isn't bad for a manpad. For 35 points, man, this is a great little vehicle. Like, considering the fact that like you could start a game with like 4 of them for, you know, a little over 100 points. Well, 140 points. That can pretty much handle all your AA needs for a little ways into the game. So a very cost-effective unit. I love these guys. 50 point Artie once again. There's some other really interesting units on here. I won't really talk about them from a cost perspective. Tanks. 25-point Leopard. These guys in high numbers, high availability, at certain decks, certain situations, can be really cost effective. It's quite a bit of firepower for 25 points. The STRF or STRV 105, 55 points to get a 70% accuracy, full range cannon with 42 rounds of ammunition, 16 AP, 8 fire rate, 10 frontal armor, 55 points. I don't think I need to go into a lot of explanation as to why that's pretty cost effective, but this number right here is pretty freaking amazing. So yeah, that's a great tank for 55 points, and it's actually a Centurion based tank that's pretty fast, so with good autonomy. So pretty much everything that was wrong with Centurion was made right with this bad boy. Very nice tank. STRV 103D, a lot of tank for 90 points. This isn't an offensive tank. The fact that it doesn't have a turret means it takes a little extra time for it to aim in certain situations, especially if you're talking about like something popping up, 60 degrees off angle from you. That could be a problem. But from an ambush perspective, man, this is a really good tank for 90 points. 15 fire rate, pretty much the best in the game for a tank. Good AP, good accuracy, good range, good armor. Small size, harder to hit. Really good defensive tank. If you are able to set up an ambush with these, you will absolutely decimate anything that walks into it, no doubt. Recon tab, Jaeger 90 in the Jupiter. They're also good in the Lynx, but we're talking about cost efficiency here. This is probably the best infantry in the game from a jack of all trades standpoint. Like, they can do anything and they do it well, whatever it is. You don't want to fight Spetsnaz with them necessarily unless you have like a 40 stack of them or something, but as far as just getting anything done, these guys can do it. Like, they have the best rocket launcher that Blufor pretty much offers with the 875 range, 20 AP, 60% accuracy. They get 8 rounds. They have an amazing submachine gun, a good machine gun. It's a shame they don't still have the IMG3 like the Jaegers have. But, hey, they're still good. So, yeah, great card right there. The NM116, you're getting very good optics on a quasi-tank vehicle. It's not really a tank. It's like a bad IFV with a big cannon on it, basically, and it's heat rounds, which is a shame. If it was KE rounds, it would be a lot better, in my opinion. But medium stealth means it could stay hidden, so maybe that makes it good that it's heat. I don't know. I haven't really used this a lot, but just looking at it on paper, the fact that you're getting very good optics on this vehicle makes it a very interesting recon vehicle. As opposed to like this tank right here, which has the KE gun, but it only has good optics. So this one's a little more interesting to me because it has very good optics. This one's got a lot more armor on it. You can make your own choices here, but the fact that this one has very good optics makes it very interesting. I didn't mention it here, but they also have a good 2-man recon team as well. So keep that in mind for your recon needs. We'll just pop them up there so you can see them. The Marine Jaegers. Alright, vehicles. IKV 105, 35 points. A lot of great firepower here. A little bit of armor. Makes it a good 35-point vehicle. Medium optics. Yeah, the reason I highlight medium optics on some of these things is most vehicles have poor optics, and if you have medium, that can give you an edge in just a few situations. So it's nice to have, you know. The IKV 103, 10 points for 3 HE. When I'm looking at cheap vehicles like this, most of the time I'm thinking about their anti-infantry abilities more than I'm thinking about their anti-vehicle abilities. So I focus a lot on their HE power and their suppression numbers, their rate of fire, their accuracy, and their armor. But for 10 points, this could be interesting. It's good. Definitely got some issues though. 250 autonomy is kind of like ain't gonna happen for me. Draws the line, breaks the deal for me, but it could be used in some situations effectively, I think. M92 PNMK, 25 points for a really nice little autocannon vehicle. These could be used very effectively in some situations. Laro TOW2, 6 TOW2 rounds for 45 points in a good fast vehicle. It's another one of the ATGM vehicles that might actually be usable. The fact that it gets 6 rounds instead of 4 is kind of nice. The Fennec TOW2, great little sniper chopper for the money. It's fast, it's got 6 strength, very small, hard to hit. 4 rounds of super high accurate TOW2s. Good vehicle, lots of availability. It's a good card. AirTab, F-35 Draken, 6 good 500 kilogram bombs, great HE payload bomber, 30% ECM, lots of like here. Good bomber for the, if I was to pick any bomber to be able to have available to me on the NATO plane tab, this would probably be in the top, 2 or 3 for sure. F-16A Block 5. I've done some testing on cluster bombers, and this guy is absolutely devastating. 12 cluster bombs for 115 points, a little bit of ECM, good speed, some sidewinders if you needed a little bit of anti-air, and like if you had a plane or helicopter infiltrating your back lines and you could like get right on them. You got a Vulcan and you got a couple of sidewinders that can do in a pinch, but this cluster payload is absolutely devastating. It will destroy a ton of stuff. Great plane for 115. F-16A MLU, 160 points. You're getting 4 good fire and forget Mavericks. They're a little lacking in AP. You're getting 4 AMRAAMs, so it can substitute kind of as a cap air superiority plane. Good ECM, good speed. The only thing I will tell you about this, it requires micro. You gotta know how to use an ATGM plane that has a bigger than 2 fire and forget payload to use this thing, because you have to control it when it goes in, and you got to be able to pull it back and manage your circles properly. F5A Puff, 70 points. That's a lot of seed value for 70 points. 30 ECM. It's not the greatest seaplane in the world. I use seaplanes primarily to screen for my bombers and my ATGM planes. I don't necessarily use them to snipe AA, because here's the thing, good players will be able to micro their AA to the degree that if you're trying to snipe with seed, you're not going to be very successful. The best use of seed planes is to screen your other planes so that they're taking shots instead of your your payload planes. So from that perspective, you're getting 4 of these on one card. They're effective, in my opinion. The JA-37 Vegan, 110 points. You're getting 2 elite on one card. So you're going to be firing this 50% long range missile with 6 HE with elite accuracy. So this is more like 70% after the bonus. It's plus 32% accuracy on 50%. So that's what, 66%, right? 0.5 times 3, 2, yeah, 66%. So the fact that you get 2 elite for 110 makes this a pretty awesome air superiority fighter, in my opinion, for 110 points. Exceptional air detection, 30% ECM. It's a good card. Alright. And last but not least, Blue Dragon. Same argument as before. You're getting a vehicle with 2 top armor for 130. So that makes this a very effective command vehicle. Mistrals, same as Eurocorps Mistrals. Nice 5-point vehicle to bring them in on. Alright, so these guys right here, it ain't because of the infantry, man, because this infantry is really bad for the money. But this vehicle is really good for the money. 2 frontal armor and a grenade launcher. And I think anybody that's played this game for a little bit, and if you haven't, I'm here to tell you, grenade launcher vehicles are probably the most effective vehicles that you can bring in the game. They bring a lot to the table for you in a lot of different situations. So 10.2 armor with a grenade launcher is a great vehicle. Unfortunately, the infantry is bad, but hey, at least you're getting a at least they have the upgraded law. Hey, at least you got that going for you. And a lot of people, when the change was made to the law and he lost the range, they were upset about that. But I will tell you this, they had 14 AP before when they had the range. Well, now they have 16 AP, and 16 AP is the magical number that will one-shot something with 2 frontal armor. So keep that in mind. So you're getting 20 fire rate and enough AP to one-shot anything with 2 frontal armor. So hey, I'm just looking on the bright side. PSAM, this is like the Stinger C plus right here. It's like Stinger C range with a little bit of, accuracy with a little bit of extra range. So the Type 91 is a really nice little manpad. Support. Oh man, this is my favorite HE rocket launcher in the game. I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but for the same reason I talked about the M109 being supply efficient, these guys right here are supply efficient as well. And you can take them in pretty close. They have like a really small minimum range, and the way MLRS systems work, the closer you get, the smaller the firing circle gets. So that means you can compress the area that those 24 rockets are going to explode in and get a lot of HE in a small circle. So for 50 points, these are great little MLRS systems. The closed arrow, basically it's like a little upgraded version of the Avenger, US Avenger truck, because you're getting the Type 91 instead of the Stinger C on it, so you get a little extra range. That's why it costs 55 instead of 45. So nice little vehicle. I need to do testing on this guy. I'm not sure if this one gets the same supply cost as the 50 point M109, which they don't have. This is different. This is a 105 millimeter, not a 155 millimeter. So I'm not sure about this one. I'd have to test it. Okay, tanks. K1. K1 is like an M1 IP with extra damage, basically. So it has the full range, a little bit extra AP. So for 10 more points, hey, sign me up. Good deal. I'll take it. Very cost efficient tank. The Kaiyu Marashiki. Great heavy tank for the money. 35 ammo, which is nice. 12 fire rate. 22 AP, 70% accuracy. Good frontal armor. It doesn't have as much armor as the super heavies, the other super heavies, but it's got a lot of offensive ability for the money, and it's very efficient because it comes with a lot of ammo. It's got a high fire rate and high accuracy. So yeah, it's a cost efficient heavy tank for sure. All right, recon. We got a very good optics, 50 point recon vehicle that's fast with a grenade launcher and a nice autocannon. So like, this bad boy's just got it all. It's nice. I like it. Ninja. 90 points for exceptional recon and good stealth with 4 Type 91s on it. What's not to like here? Very nice. Very nice. If there was one recon helicopter that I could have in the game available to me on every deck, this would be the one I'd want. Very nice. Very nice. Vehicle. Renso 106 millimeter. I don't know why I didn't talk about it on the US deck. The Ontos, I should have talked about it, but for the money, it's a great little recoilless rifle. This is like the little brother of the Ontos, basically. It's not quite as good as the Ontos, but it's still good. You're getting 15 AP, 10 fire rate, a little bit of armor, small size. It's a good little fire support vehicle, no doubt. I didn't talk about it, but let's talk about the Chumat. Basically, same range as the Mon F3, a little bit extra accuracy, and not as good at AP, but at least you get a decent amount of AP, let's put it that way. For Blufor ATGMs, this one is not horrible. I'll just say it that way. So worth consideration, yes. And you can get 7 hardened on one card on Blue Dragon, so it's not bad. Alright, helicopters. This is where Blue Dragon really shines. AH-1J for 55. I mean, you're getting the Vulcan, you're getting 52 rockets for 55 points. Sign me up. Great chopper, very effective. Just your ideal gunship right there in a lot of ways. Very effective. AH-1T, love this guy. It is the only Cobra besides the Super Cobra with toe 2s on it. You get 8 of them for 90 points. Once again, sign me up. Great. I like it. MD-500 Ito, 50 points for 4 Itos. Decent speed, very small size. It's a good little sniper chopper. Pretty cost effective. Air. Okay, kind of some strange things to point out here, but this is a great little F-16 for 100 points. I always call it my knife fighter. Like, you have your longer range air superiority fighters. Well, this is one of the best if you like get in there close and knife fight with them, because you got 6 of the best sidewinders. Like, its use is highly situational, and you got to think about it a little bit. But early game, it's really nice early game. Like, you could really devastate with this early game. But for 100 points, it's not bad. And you're getting 4 trained on 1 card. It's kind of cool. Late game, their efficiency falls off a little bit, but we talked about infiltrations, like dealing with infiltrations and stuff. They can be really good for that, especially considering the fact that they got 6 sidewinders on them. F5A, that's a lot of napalm ability for the money, so worth consideration. And then the K5FE Jijong Ho, kind of the same thing. It's like the little brother of this F-16C piece bridge. It's got 6 bad sidewinders, but they're still decent sidewinders. They're just relatively bad. Exceptional air detection is really nice little key to this one, because it's going to be able to scout the map very efficiently, and 75 points, and you can have 2 elite, which will help make these a lot more accurate. Or you could have 4 hardened if you wanted to do it that way. But good little helicopter snipers, or just map scouts for the money. And I guess I can give their seed plane an honorable mention. You only get 1 on a card, which kind of hurts, but it's got good long range. It's a sniper seed, and 4 AMRAAMs, so it can double duty, 50 ECM, so it can double duty as your air superiority as well. So it makes a good combo with these F-16Cs. So if I was to use the seed plane, I would want some of these to like come in and do my knife fighting with me, while these kind of covered me long range, something like that. So I think you could be pretty effective at working out air strategy with them using some of these short range fighters. Alright, I think I covered it all in 1 hour and 22 minutes. Remember when I said I was going to keep it short? I did my best, guys. I did my best. Sorry. But hopefully that was useful to somebody. And just let me know any questions y'all have down in the comments. And thanks for watching.